Hello again. Incel Supreme responded to my video responding to him, so welcome to the Infinite Regress. If you're unfamiliar, Trevor Cormier, otherwise known as City Crusher here on YouTube, is an incel misogynist that took issue with the first video in this series because, well, he believes racism is just another form of misandry. Now, we know people like this don't really deserve to be taken seriously, and believe me, I'm not, but he made a few accusations in his response that we should debunk, specifically one made by the idiot that brought my video to him, Mr. Ballsack Schrader. As you can see, Mr. Sack is his funnel for information and has been feeding this involuntary celibate lies for a while now, and in this latest video, Trevor not only accepts the lies, but makes them the basis of his video. So, time to dunk on him. First of all, this video's title is hilarious. Damage control? You'd have to actually be someone and say something important to cause damage, Trevor. I mean, that first video has 38 likes. 38. You have more comments than you have likes. This ought to tell you that most people that watched the video didn't think you were making any coherent sense and that your conspiracy theories aren't moving anyone's needle. Hell, as admitted by Sackboy himself, the people that watched this video are mainly made up of my former audience members. But I guess you took me responding to you as me being afraid of what you had to say. Yes, I look petrified here, don't I? Much scary, many damage control.
This grifter I exposed a few days ago, the Birdman, is now trying to run damage control. And he is embarrassing himself.
Couple things. You didn't expose anything, except for your blatant ignorance and that the last time you felt a vagina was when you came out of one. And even then, you might have been born through C-section. But this idea that I'm a grifter is a sad game of I know you are, but what am I, from people that don't have an argument and can't refute the arguments I made in my videos. I mean, on its face, it doesn't make any sense. For years, I've been calling out CinemaSins and proving with evidence that they've been lying about movies and manipulating footage, for example.
But when we see the actual photo, it appears that the rear of the ship, with some of the propeller visible, is the part on top. So this sin is either for a terrible diagram designer or a lazy continuity department.
Interesting choice of words there, CinemaSins. I mean, calling someone lazy and terrible when you just tried to tell the audience that diagram was depicting the photographed boat. You spliced these scenes together to make it look as if the diagram was depicting that boat, but what the movie was actually showing was a montage of damaged boats that had come into contact with Godzilla after that first boat was sunk stern first. That's not a grift. A grift would be like this guy, creating rage bait simply meant to get clicks. Do you see the difference yet? I provide evidence. He makes up a narrative about something that isn't even out yet to garner rage bait clicks.
Ballsack, in my comment section, pointed this guy out as a grifter. And he says, I used to watch him years ago, that's Birdman, when the main types of videos he would make were videos debunking the channel CinemaSins, if you know who they are, and I do. He used to be actually pretty anti-feminist in those videos. In contrast, CinemaSins who are feminist. He now criticizes the anti-woke people for being against Captain Marvel and Star Wars sequels. But he himself has criticized Captain Marvel and Star Wars sequels for their feminist agendas in his earlier videos. This was 2016, 2018, when anti-feminism was trending. He was pandering to the anti-feminists when it was big. Now that the trends died, he started pandering to the feminist. Yes, if what Ballsack is accusing you of is true, then you are a grifter.
Unless you've been living under a rock, this literally doesn't make any sense. Let's assume for the moment that this talking point were true. Wouldn't pandering to the feminists be less profitable in 2024? I think you two have got your wires crossed, as anti-woke content is what's trending right now. I would be explicitly going against that trend if what you said were true. As I explained before, I don't care who is making a claim, whether that's a feminist or an anti-feminist. My position is always to challenge illogical arguments, like I'm doing right now. Testicle Man is telling a half-truth. I did not, quote, criticize Captain Marvel and the Star Wars sequels for their feminist agendas, end quote. I literally have videos reviewing those movies. You can watch these for yourself to see if I ever criticize these movies specifically for feminist agendas. Here's a hint. You won't find that because I don't do that. I talk about the movie and the movie alone. I don't grift on rage bait. Once again, in my Everything Wrong With videos, I don't defend or criticize movies. I criticize Jeremy from CinemaSins for using the term mansplaining and refer to Rey from Star Wars as a Mary Sue. For clarity's sake, I call males Mary Sues too, as the term is explicitly a literary term meant to describe a character archetype. There is a bevy of evidence of me using this term for dudes. The problem is, incels like you two have politicized the term so that people like me that are just talking about a type of character in media is taken as some kind of political dog whistle, when that's just not the case. As for the Captain Marvel video, again, I criticize the usage of the term mansplaining, as it is a sexist term meant to describe something that both sexes do. I have not flip-flopped on this position, as you can literally see me arguing that same position today. You rage quit too soon, ball sweat, as I have not stopped criticizing bad ideas.
Let's see if you have anything anti-feminist to say.
Control your impulses. Stop using this, start using this.
There's so much goddamn pedantic mansplaining in the beginning of this movie that I fast-forwarded to the end, where Carol blasts the out of Jan Rog and watched it 3 times in a row.
Unironically using the sexist term mansplaining.
So you're taking a feminist term, mansplaining, and calling it for what it is, sexism. Good on you. That's good. So we're in agreement that feminism is a hate movement.
No, we are not in agreement that feminism is a hate movement. Are there some misandrists that are feminist? Sure, but like all ideologies, they have some bad ideas and talking points, including yours. This is why I don't call myself a feminist. Like I said before, once you follow an ideology, you'd have to inevitably defend a bad idea, and this is why I don't associate myself with any ideologies.
We'll see if you make the same claims as the guys you are calling grifters.
So I'm giving you 10 cents for praising a Mary Sue because you're a channel that points out cliches for a living.
Look, a Mary Sue. So you're using the same language that, the guys you're calling grifters use. Everyone mark that.
And marked. Perhaps you didn't listen to Birdman there, where he said, I'm giving you 10 cents for praising a Mary Sue as you point out cliches for a living. The point there was that Jeremy didn't acknowledge the trope. This one. As you can see on this page, the term has become a pejorative because of people like you, exactly the same as the word woke, which had a neutral connotation when black people used it, but is now used in a derogatory fashion. So you see, we are not speaking the same language, as I have high media literacy, and you all are just normal illiterate.
So when you use the terminology that they use, you're just telling the truth. But when I use it, I'm one of them, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look at the difference between us, Trevor. You make video after video demonstrating that you are a misogynist. You implied that a black woman was too ugly to be in a movie meant for kids and that her existence was denying people like you eye candy. You claim that feminism is a hate movement and that racism is a form of misandry. You tell me, do I even come close to any of that bullshit in my work?
Huge problem with what you're saying. The KKK has a history.
Yeah, they do. And that's why they're comparative to feminists who also have a history.
Yes, things having a history means they are comparable. The Teletubbies have a history. A dark history.
They wear uniforms where we know.
Uniforms are neither here nor there. White nationalists don't wear uniforms, do they?
Ah, but you see, you didn't say white nationalists. You specified the Triple K, which are a specific type of white nationalist.
If the KKK showed up at your town and decided to put on a play, you wouldn't go. You would have automatically made up your mind because it's the KKK, and you know what motivates them.
And the defining feature of a Triple K member is the ghost costume with a party hat under it. Otherwise, we have no way to know they are a member of that group, which is the entire point of the disguise. So that means there would be no way to know that that production was KKK unless they were wearing the outfits, dummy.
Matter of fact, I'll show you how they're like the KKK. Feminist becomes mass shooter of helpless children. How would a movement for equality, stoke someone to murdering helpless baby boys.
I'd be interested in the autopsy of your brain, because you have to be suffering from some form of advanced CTE. These have literally no correlation at all. Seriously, how many feminists are mass shooters? You literally have a single example that can't even be found on Google and is likely Russian propaganda. Even through that propaganda, it says she was stopped before she got off a single shot. So if this is a real story, nothing even happened. How are you equating this with the terror attacks on black people by the KKK? Are you stupid?
Well, they weren't babies, but they were like in kindergarten or something like that.
You're lying, as no children were harmed in your example.
By the way, the KKK, they don't go after little black girls. Birdman.
They don't what? The Atlanta murders was a high-profile case that saw a black man tried and convicted for 24 of 30 child murders, including 2 female children. It turns out that the Klan was actually involved and that this case remains open to this day. Charles Sanders, a Klans member, was secretly recorded as having praised those crimes, and an anonymous tip from one of Sanders' former friends alleged that Sanders and other Klans members took credit for the murders and that the black man who was convicted of those crimes was scapegoated. If that doesn't disprove your bull jive, then how about this one, where the Klan set off a bomb and killed 4 little girls at a church in 1963? The Klan doesn't kill little girls. The Klan kills everybody, you nut job. Now let's skip forward a little bit as he continues his feeble attempt at equating feminists with those white supremacist hillbillies in ghost costumes.
How is that any different than the gas chambers?
And Nazis, apparently.
So I'm making my points. You haven't said anything.
You've got that backwards, Trevor. You aren't saying anything. We are laughing at how unhinged you sound. You took a single instance of a crazy feminist and compared that to one of America's most infamous terrorist groups. Do you not see the irony? This is exactly what I mean when I say you people are a mirror image of each other. Don't radical feminists say that all men are inherently dangerous because some men commit most of the crime? You are taking a page out of their playbook, only you're doing it worse because you were only able to procure a single example where, even better, she didn't even get to kill any kids. You brought a butter knife to a nuke fight.
Are they like blatantly obvious about their who's making the mind?
Yeah, they are blatantly obvious. I'll show you some more. There's the White Feather campaign by high status white women putting feathers into men's, shaming them to go to war to die, something that they themselves would never have to suffer. And that's why they do it. This is suffragettes. This is the first wave.
What Lord Incel the First is leaving out is that this campaign was started by Admiral Charles Fitzgerald, a man that was trying to boost enlistment for World War I. He used women because he thought that was an effective shaming tactic, as men generally don't want to look weak in front of women. Present company excluded, of course. This had absolutely nothing to do with the first wave of feminism and everything to do with a man wanting to force other men to go and die for country. Seems so far you actually have a problem with dudes.
How about the feminist who joined with the KKK?
What fucking point are you trying to prove here? That there are women racists? Yeah, we know. We are currently dealing with Melanie Mack and Star Wars theory.
And know who they really were disgusted with? Black men, not black women. Black men especially. That's who they want to see lynched. You.
And now you're just lying, as the WKKK were anti-black women since the first wave. Like, who are you trying to fool here? And you can stop with this limp-wristed appeal to my ethnic background, sir. I debunk bullshit artists for a living. If I were a white guy, you would have never brought up these degenerates, so let's knock it off.
Balsack here pointed out you were putting up anti-feminist videos. You were calling feminist misandrous. You were saying they're sexist, right? And you were using the same lingo as all these guys you're calling white nationalists.
No, semen receptacle dude lied to you about the nature of my work, and that's why you only played a single clip from each video, because those videos were not about criticizing feminist rhetoric. You see, this is what a video from me criticizing rhetoric looks like, embarrassing you point by point and showing exactly why no one should take you seriously in the marketplace of ideas, you fucking clown.
You know why? Because racism has its heart in misandry.
See? He actually said that, guys. He truly believes that racism is the hatred of men. And look at him after he said it, so satisfied with himself as if he didn't just say the stupidest shit of 2024. Why am I never accosted by, like, intelligent people?
You don't mind having a collar around your neck as long as a woman is holding it. That's the difference.
Well, when I do it, typically they're the ones wearing the collar, but you wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Trev?
But the feminist who hates your guts, you're definitely all right with that.
First correct thing you've said all day. You're right. I am all right with feminists hating me. I'm all right with anyone hating me. You know why? Because I couldn't care less about others' opinions of me. I love me. And that's enough.
Do we even need to continue this video?
That's my line, you grifter. Because I just exposed you again.
Now, Trevor, showing everyone how stupid you are is not exposing me. You fell for the okie doke from a former subscriber who is disgruntled with me. Heck, he even calls you out for bad points in your video, so that's credit where credit is due, huevos vato.
This is bad, guys. Again, the point that I'm making is about media grifters, and they typically
That's what you are. Yeah.
are straight white men, and these
Oh, really? That's a real racist thing for you to say. You're a grifter. You're not white, are you?
Well, that was stupid. See, this is why you should let someone's points play out in full before you pause the video to let your vapid thoughts spew from your mouth. What I said was these people are typically straight white men. Do you know what the word typically means? How are you this old and have not encountered the word typically? Nothing about that was racist, you dipshit. I'm describing reality. The majority of these people happen to be white dudes. Sure, you got the occasional Eric July and Melanie Mack and hell, even Milo Yiannopoulos. That does not change the fact that the largest percentage of media grifters are straight white men. Head to your nearest discount store and buy a clue, you fucking simpleton.
these people have an issue with things that are not straight white men. So queer people, people of color, women. Fool. The idea that I'm virtue signaling to women.
You're a fool. Yeah, you are virtue signaling. Matter of fact, you jumped on the bandwagon of the people who would lynch you in a heartbeat. You're the epitome of an Uncle Tom.
Now see, that's racist. And you clearly are one, given how you spoke about Danielle Brooks in the last video. You might want to watch your mouth, eh?
I don't give a shit what women think of me.
Yes, you do, dude. You desperately. That's why you're making this hour and 20-minute video trying to do damage control. From a guy who has 1,500 subs, you care deeply.
I see you don't understand math either. Your original video was just about 30 minutes. If I'm responding to your points in full, and I did, that would necessarily make my video at least double that length. And your channel size doesn't matter to me. I respond to big YouTubers, small YouTubers, and everything in between. It's so funny how you people harp on channel size as if it matters. On one hand, I can't respond to the drinkers' nonsense because that would be clout chasing. On the other hand, I can't respond to your nonsense because that means I care too much. Basically, I can't respond is what you're saying.
Really don't, except the ones that I'm fucking. Which happened.
Which is nobody.
I was very tempted to post pictures in this part of the video, but that would have been too low class of me. Funny, but low class. All I'm saying is if my Instagram happens to go live, it was an accident.
Know damn well had the exact same Terminator 2 come out in 2024, they'd call Sarah in that film woke too. You know, because badass women always means the missing.
You are aware that we did love Sarah Connor back then. See, this jackass here thinks that's a Dutch movement. Yet this jackass here even used their terminology. He called Ray a Mary Sue. So you are just like the guys you claim you aren't. And that's why I'm getting off that smug look, because this guy just embarrasses himself. This whole video.
No, you goofy son of a dog dick. That reaction was because you're missing the point, which appears to be a theme with you. I was saying you people use Sarah Connor as a shield from criticism, and then you immediately do exactly that as a response, like the easy-to-read children's book that you are. The point was that if the same movie came out today, you wouldn't use Sarah Connor as a shield from criticism, but would be shitting on her.
Fucking point, you imbecile. It's that if this movie came out today, you guys would be shitting on it. That
Not you guys. I'm not one of these guys. I'm not a right-wing tradcon.
You could have fooled me and everyone else watching this video. You have nothing but videos shitting on women under the guise of you tackling feminism. You couldn't tackle a pillow with your old ass, let alone a topic as robust as this one.
And I'm not a female worshiper like you. You're on their side. I'm the one who opposes them.
Them? You know you just used that pronoun in reference to females, right? Do you not realize that you just contradicted yourself by admitting you oppose females? Yeah, these guys do too.
I'm entirely aware that you guys like this kind of stuff.
Not you guys. Don't look at me.
You're just like these guys that when the topic of women come up, if they're not in some subservient role or eye candy, you're foaming at the mouth. Yes, you guys.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
Well, you're lying. Yeah. Grifter.
He's so satisfied with himself. Look at him. He really thinks he's doing something here. What he needs to do is invest in a better PC because he's watching me in 1 frame per second.
Right? If you're fine with the politics of feminism that hates you as a man, then you should be all right with the KKK because the feminists joined up with them and they both agree. They want to see you black guys swing from a rope.
Now, Trevor, let's stop with the projection. We know that's what you want to see. And this weird conspiracy about the WKKK being the root of feminism is not working on anyone except those that are susceptible to conspiracy theories. Feminism's history began in the 1700s, not the 1900s. You would have to actually know history to know that, so I don't blame you, what with you being homeschooled and all. But let's try not loudly professing our ignorance, shall we?
You can't.
No, you're right. I can't take bigotry. And I'm totally against it. And I stand against it. That's right, I can't. You can because you're a little bitch.
You really should refrain from saying things that you wouldn't say in person, Trevor. And don't kid yourself, you wouldn't. In any case, my point there was that I don't whine about it. You people claim that everyone else is a snowflake, but the moment a woman shows up in a piece of media, you lose your minds making video after video crying to other men about it. Meanwhile, us normal people go about our day. That's the difference, and it's why you'll never amount to anything. Things like this ruin your day, and you can't function until other men have heard you cry. Anyway, this is a nothing video from a nothing person. He doesn't even respond to the entirety of my video, and that's probably a good thing, as it might make his PC explode. As you can see, these are the types of people that have an issue with my work, and they have to lie about it and misrepresent it to find anything wrong with it. Seems like I'm doing something right. Until next time, Bird Gang.